Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth.
And danced the skies on laughter's silvered wings.
Sunward I've climbed, and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds.
And done 100 things you have not dreamed of.
These are the voyages of the starship Erebus. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Alrighty then, we are back with session 2 of Star Trek Erebus, which is being recorded now, not streamed. So if you're catching this on the VOD, I appreciate you as a human being. And it's been a while. It's been about a month and a half since we played, so I had to go back and watch our last VOD because I candidly kind of forgot what we were doing because it's been a hot second. But you know what? It's okay. The crew is here. They're fired up, super focused, not sick at all, definitely dressed different. And overall, just looking dandy as can be. Really is what I have to say. In fact, I even put on real big boy clothing today. Look at me. I'm a real game master now. So with that being said, we're just going to go around the table, have everyone quickly reintroduce themselves, tell us who they're playing today, because some of those names are slightly different. And then we're going to do a brief little session intro from me, so I can kind of bring everyone back up to speed of what happened last time. And then we're gonna open it up with a certain away team arriving in a certain place. So we're going to go Matthew, Aaron, Drew, Schmandy, and we'll wrap it up with C4A. Matthew, take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Matthew. As you have already been informed, I play the Enar/Andorian science officer, Shas Chathane. He is a civilian attaché to the Erebus, and he is also blind, given that his Enar heritage.
And I guess it'll be me next. So I'm Aaron, because that's what Wolf said. He said Aaron was second, so this is me. I'm Aaron, second. But not on the ship, because normally I play the captain. So Easter Truth, he's an Andorian. But today I am playing an ensign science officer named Diego Rojas.
Was I third?
You were, Drew.
I am third. Hi, I'm Drew. I'm going to be playing the Lieutenant Commander Flitz, the now human, reluctantly human, chief engineer.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I am Schmandy, and as usual, I am playing Lieutenant Phelan, the head of security and a former warrior of the Klingon Empire.
And I am C4A, and I normally play a human doctor, Lieutenant Commander Stern. And today I am playing a Siri, an android. I am now the token android. I think ops. I think that was just general ops.
Yep. That's where you're at. There you are. Found you. Perfect. And of course, I am Dare Wolf, the game master. And I think we lost Aaron, but he'll be back eventually. Hopefully. He went muted and turned himself off. So we'll just give it a second.
We're already down one. The Centaurum are deadlier than we thought.
Yes. All right, and then in a cutscene, you all make an epic sacrifice to save the rest of the Erebus, and your sacrifice lives on with them believing in you, and it helps the rebellion.
Good session.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
So we open our scene with the ever-classic blue beam of light. The away team has just been transported onto this alien station. The moment that all of you materialize, you find yourselves standing in a long hallway. It goes left to right, kind of looks like an atrium, and you're facing a set of large wooden double doors with this intricate sort of carvings on it that look a little bit like something obviously religious. You have these roots that look like massive old trees that start to grow up, and they start to intertwine, and then they sort of come together, and at the top of it you see what appears to be some sort of blooming flower, but the flower appears to be exploding, and then in the center of that flower there is this sun, but the sun is painted this sort of blood, sickly blood red. Like very, very fresh blood, and it's sort of dripping, and there's almost this effect like it's dripping constantly. The smell that you guys instantaneously pick up as you materialize in this hallway is one of this sort of musty old incense. Like, if you've ever been in the area of a church where they have the little incense burners, and there's sort of this mixture of that fresh incense and the old stuff that's just been there for many, many years, and it's seeped into the wood and the cushioning and whatnot. There's that smell there. And then there's also a ever-present kind of ticking noise, like a metronome that's been set to a very, very slow kind of like a tick, 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 back and forth. There's this constant ticking noise. And you see the floors appear to be made of like a marble. The walls are made of sort of a grayish stone, and it's very cathedral looking. And you see the hallway goes all the way down and starts to curve to the left, all the way down, starts to curve to the right. So left and right. So you're in some sort of spherical like hallway that likely loops this entire station. What would you guys like to do?
Did I take a scan with my tricorder of maybe to try to get a better sense of where we are?
Mm-hmm. You absolutely may.
And what would you like me to roll?
Let's do science. Let's do us a science and let's see here. Control science, please.
Okay.
I remember how to play this game.
Science. We're gonna do 2d20s. And he's got no focus on this because he is not a scientist. Oh, look at that.
Not bad. Difficulty was 2 on this, so you do succeed. You also had 6 momentum that you carried over from last session because I said you would need it. So,
yeah.
Lieutenant Ross, as you begin your scan, you pick up that the walls of this particular structure are made of a very strange material. It appears to be some sort of microscopic plasma stabilization material that allows the material to constantly adapt to any forces that would dematerialize it. So as this station is in the process of trying to terraform subspace into a different type of reality, as it were, it appears the station is constantly adapting to its surroundings to make sure that it maintains its stability. And what's strange is perhaps as you're close to it, you can see that the wall ever so slightly almost looks liquid, almost sort of this like wiggly kind of like maybe like the sticky thing you'd throw, like a jelly of some kind, like a jello maybe. And you know that you saw this station. It was like a spherical station. There were rings around it. It was swirling. It was ebbing. It was flowing. There was that black hole that this thing is surrounding. It was constantly flickering between those, push and a pull, a push and a pull. There were strange occurrences aboard the station, aboard the ship where people were turning into different things. We had Lieutenant Commander Flitz become a human. We had a certain alien doctor, Harak, possibly eat somebody. We're not sure. He was eating chickens. That was a whole thing, yes. But you realize that you are near the center ring of the station. So the station has a center ring. There's all these rings surrounding this black hole. You're on the innermost ring is where you guys have arrived. And this is where Iwik, who is a member of the Centaurum, mentioned to you guys in a briefing that there may be a control module or a station, something of that nature, that you may have an opportunity to either get what you need, shut the station down, transfer power. The main mission here is to try to get some of this technobabble stuff, right, from last session, and use that to hopefully power the ship and send you back to where you were. You had this temporal explosion, you rode the wave, much like Voyager did, shot out, tens and tens of thousands of light years away from your original starting location, which you also need to get back to use the wormhole, in 5 years to get home. So there's incentive to get back there. But this is the information you've picked up, and then obviously you can ask any other questions as you like to.
Who is the is Shaz is with us, right, Matthew? Like you're playing Shaz today.
He is, yes.
And I think Rojas is going to convert his tricorder to the non-visual mode, which I suppose would be some tactile interface. And he'll just say, Doctor Shithane, would you want to take a look at this? I'm no theoretical physicist, but this structure, well, just have a look, sir. It looks like it's made out of some sort of polymimetic alloy.
So he plucks the tricorder from your hand and then just runs his fingers over a few of the sort of tactile displays while also focusing on it with his antenna, sort of bending towards it. And even though he can't see, his eyes are that milky white color, he's looking down at the screen as if there's some kind of impression reaching him through that telepathic sense that he has of the environment around him. And then he just looks towards you and nods. Well, you are an engineer, yes?
No, sir. I'm a security officer.
Oh. Very well. You're quite right, though. Your metallurgical analysis is entirely accurate. It's some kind of adaptogenic, not quite metal, but I don't know what it is. It's unlike anything he frowns, anything I've ever encountered before. It's, as is unfortunately commonplace with the race of the Centaurum.
It bears a slight resemblance to a far more controlled form of plasma, as you'd see in a Klingon or a Romulan disruptor, but far more controlled, more than I've ever seen.
Well, the fluidic dynamics are quite far in advance of anything that they could do with their plasma technology, but yeah, there is a vague resemblance, yes. And then he sort of like turns over to Phelan. I would be reluctant to ascertain what one of our phasers would do if it, was directed at this material. The results would be somewhat unpredictable. I would suggest being careful of your fire if it should come to that.
Naturally. He makes the order. Do not fire without my command. As for myself, perhaps phasers may not be necessary, I say as I hold up my mek'leth. There are other ways to dispatch any hostile activities.
Well, we don't really have any indication that there's anybody here, sir.
That is true. But we have only seen this one hallway. Stay on your guard.
It's a nice hallway, though.
Well appointed.
Commander Flitz, you look awfully sweaty.
I hate it here. I hate it. Inside of this meat sack. How can any of you stand it?
I don't know either.
Well, we don't have anything against which to compare it.
Yeah, we don't have any other way for a reference.
Then you're the lucky ones. Just stands there and sweats and looks at his tricorder.
Can we like roll for him to sweat? Like maybe a daring security.
You know what? Give me a fitness security.
Yeah, you got fitness security.
It's a difficulty of 4.
4?
Yeah, not to.
Yeah, we want to. Yeah. You can auto fail that though. I think if you declare.
If you want to, you can choose to. Yeah, you can roll.
So if he fails, he sweats, or if he fails, he doesn't
Who
sweat.
Who can tell anymore?
I've left it intentionally vague. So
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna use my focuses of theoretical physics.
Okay, that's fine. I'll allow it.
Yes, in this extra liminal space. It's
Yeah.
No.
Well,
It is too.
You are
I mean,
sweating
2
like a hog.
successes.
You're sweating like a hog.
Ew.
Just, it was hot today. It was hot yesterday. It'll be hot again tomorrow. So
It's
that's exactly where you're at.
in Topeka.
I'm just a simple country engineer.
He turns into Foghorn Leghorn. Now, boy, I say, boy.
Get out of here, son. You bother me.
Mr. Flitz, I'm no medical doctor, but it seems to me as if that amount of perspiration is not normal.
Who knows what you people have to deal with all the time. I don't know. It's hot. I don't like it.
Considering I'm an Andorian, it's even hotter for me than it would be for you, given that, at least superficially, you are a human being at this point.
Can
So
we
the fact that you
say
are
this while we're not
affected.
so we're not out in the open where we might be caught by hostiles.
Theory, with your hearing of the android level, unlike the meat puppets around you, you hear a concordant ticking noise. So if it's like tick, 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 there's like a tick, 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 and it's not equal between the other two ticks, so it's always different. And it sounds like maybe metal on stone. So like maybe a chunk of metal being dragged. So it's like a drag, tick, 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 drag, tick, 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 drag, tick, and a very low and almost maddening sounding muttering coming towards you from the right.
So, as you all are discussing sweats, Siri will kind of like triangulation.
So if you recall, I described it as being this long, marble floor, this like aqueous sort of almost like ever-changing sort of stonework, and then it curves because you're in a giant ring, so it curves left and right. And it's coming from the right, and just around the corner, as you start to triangulate, you might look, you would see a figure, humanoid, bipedal, with what looks to be a long sword. Like just an actual sword. Like a big old long sword. And it's just, it'll let it hit the floor, tink tink, pick it up, drag it along the wall, which makes a scraping noise. Tink tink, drag along the wall, tink tink, and it's never the same rhythm. It's constantly different.
Excuse me, Lieutenant Phelan. We seem to have company.
Rojas, on me. Non-combatants behind us.
I'm gonna pull my
Rojas.
phaser anyways.
Rojas is gonna form up and shoulder his Type 3 phaser.
Do not fire without my permission.
As you move into position, the combatants up front, you create this sort of firing line. The three behind, phasers in hand, perhaps phasers not. But as you look forward, you see what appears to be a almost like Klingon-looking Klingon, but like early Klingons from like the original,
Like augment Klingon.
yeah,
A Klingon-looking Klingon. Wow.
hear me out. It's like a Klingons before they had the augmentation and got the ridges, like the original series,
Like ruffles.
Klingons.
He's got that gold lame shirt going on.
Correct. Kind of like that style, okay? And it's carrying what appears to be like a English broadsword is the best way to describe it. It's like an English broadsword, okay?
Oh, that's a.
So many anachronisms.
He's kind of mixing metaphors, sir.
Mhm.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on here. Sweat, sweat.
I'll call out to it and shout in Klingon, "Stop, identify yourself."
Creature, person, who is very red. You notice that what is different about it,
Oh, come on.
what is different about it is that it kind of looks like its fingers are more, like they're like broken almost and like weirdly shaped kind of thing. And it's like having trouble holding the sword, which is why it keeps dropping it.
Yeah.
All right. You call out to it in Klingon. It doesn't rightly or readily respond. It simply continues to tink tink, drag, and it's muttering to itself. And from the distance, you can't tell what language it is. It's just a mad ramblings of someone. How close do you let him get prior to speaking again or shouting, or what would you do?
I'm going to raise my my mek'leth and call out. It's like, do not come any closer.
Give me a presence and command, difficulty of 2.
Presence. Okay. And command. 2d20s. Well, bye.
Beautiful. The creature in question stops. Its head has been down, muttering, sort of shaking its head back and forth. As it looks up, you see what could presumably be Lieutenant Phelan, one of your great ancestors, straight out of a history book, straight out of a holotape, whatever you want to say. You see someone that looks like it could be related to you, but a distant relative, slightly changed and different, not quite as Klingon-y as you, right? I can speak English, forgive me. It's a hard language, learning Klingon, but I digress. But it looks at you, and it looks confused, bewildered, maybe a little scared, and it looks down at the broadsword, and in Klingon, this person says to you, "We are supposed to fight, yes?"
I am not here to fight, but if that is what you will do, then I am here to meet it.
Know not what must do. Hands are broken. Sword is not weapon of childhood. Know not what to do, where to go. Simply walk in a loop. Forever walk in the loop. No one to fight. No honor to be had. Just the loop. And as he says just the loop, he starts to look through you more than at you, like he's watching you disappear. And then he starts to move again, muttering to himself. And finally, at this point, you can hear what he's muttering. It's, "I have no way to die. I have no honor to be gained. I have no fight to fight." And he's just looping that over and over, tink, 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 discordant, and then the tick, tick.
I'll call after him. What is your name, warrior?
He does not respond and continues to walk as though he does not hear you or chooses to ignore you at this point.
Sir?
Keep an eye on him. Do not engage unless he returns.
Throughout that entire experience, Shas would like to be scanning him to determine whether he is an illusion, a hologram, some sort of deformed Klingon, anything I can glean about him.
Give me an insight medicine, excuse me, I would say. You're going to scan for like physical life form. Are you scanning more to say, is he human or is he a hologram? So I'll let you decide.
Well, not human per se, but is he real?
Yeah, is he real?
Or is he some sort of projection or something like that?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So what I'll have you do is actually let's do science. Let's do reason science. We're going to do difficulty of 3 on this one.
Okay. Would anyone mind if I bought an extra die with some momentum?
Take it.
Not at all.
You got it.
Go for it.
So much. There's a fail. Inconclusive. You see for a moment, we'll play into this, unless you obviously have something you want to re-roll or you want to roll with it.
It's been so long, I've kind of forgotten my talent. So
Perfect. So you're just going to roll with it. All right, we're just going to keep the momentum going, as it were. That's a joke because we have that in this game, but I digress. Woof, tough crowd today. But yes, so I love you guys. So you scan him, and very similar to the way the white hole and the black hole, it was kind of switching between the two states. This humanoid, this creature, this person, this supposed Klingon, seems to be in a constant flux of both being made of photons and flesh and blood. And it's flickering. like someone's flickering a light switch. Tick, 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 tick. Back and forth.
And Shas just shakes his head. I have no idea what we're dealing with here.
He looks like one of my ancestors and bears an ancient human weapon. He said he has no way to die.
Well, our chief engineer currently looks like a human being. Who knows what this place would be capable of achieving?
According to the layout, I'm positive we'll be seeing him again.
Yes, well. Is there a way we can scan for any power sources? Anything where we might find any control module?
If there's a computer anywhere, I can hook up to it. Siri can hook up to it.
Let's move forward until we can find some leads.
Okay.
What if?
Starting ground.
I love that. Yes.
Might I suggest we just spend 2 momentum, perhaps, to create the advantage that we come across a computer terminal that she can at least attempt to access?
Yeah, let's do that.
What are you trying to say?
At least attempt. That was kind of a slight. I don't know what to say.
I know.
It's rough.
I mean, I didn't want to go too far and suggest that, we find a computer terminal that has all the information that we need and she is able to effortlessly access it. But if I can spend 2 momentum to do that, then I will.
Good game, everybody.
Yeah. All right.
Good session.
The advantage is you complete the session successfully.
Yep. And then you die heroically, giving everyone else.
Hooray!
Yes.
What am I looking at?
What?
You're looking at Wolf's ceiling fan.
You're looking at
because-
Wolf fixing the overlay because we lost Drew, but that's okay. Life happens.
Okay.
We just drag people back to their face holes. There we go. We're almost there. Drew just mucked it up as he always
Yeah,
does.
his laptop wasn't plugged in.
Oh, is that what it
um,
was? Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that guy, but that seems like something he'd do.
Is his battery
there
died
he
or
is.
what?
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
the back had gotten unplugged.
All right.
And
What
it gave me the low battery indicator, and as I was reaching for it, I guess I moved my screen down and it
Went to sleep.
went into power saving mode because
Hey, remember, it's a
back.
Darewolf. It's a Darewolf done gaming video, so there's got to be some scuff every time. There's never.
All
there's
right.
always
So
something.
computer terminal.
Yeah. So computer terminal. There we have it. So you guys are making your way down, and you're actually following. He's not moving fast, so you keep pace with this man. And eventually, you come to a little jut out, and I want you to think of like high school water fountain, but made of that sort of aqueous like stone. And then there is this silver kind of bowl that at first glance just kind of looks like a metal bowl, almost like one of those musical instruments that you kind of hit on and it goes dun 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 dun.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Drum?
Is that
Steel
what it's called?
drum?
Steel drum? It's
No,
kinda
no,
like
no. A steel drum or the other way around.
Yeah,
The
it's the
stone
stone.
versus
yeah.
A hung drum.
It's kind of like one of those, right?
pan.
Thank you. And you see it,
pan.
and it takes you a moment, which is strange for you because you're an android. But then you're like, well, what if I just put my hand down there? And as you put your hand down there, all of these
Pensive.
lights start to like shoot out, and they start to wrap around and create this sort of visualization of like you having almost like a gamer gauntlet. Okay, like a Game Boy like gamer gauntlet.
power glove.
Your
Power glove, right? You've got like one of those.
Inevitable.
Yes.
You have an Omni tool.
You have an Omni tool,
It's
right? So
so
you look down,
bad.
and as you do so, up in front of you, peering up, and there's all these lights that come out from the bowl, is what you would identify as a computer screen. Now the symbols across it are just all of these strange, almost like hieroglyphic looking symbols. There's a lot of numbers. Some of it looks like binary. It really looks like almost like a combination of maybe 1,000 different languages that have been shoved together to create this code. And as you're looking at it, though, how would you like to try and decipher it and interact with it?
I don't know. Just connect to the Wi-Fi, scan it. I don't know. However, whatever gets the job done. I am I've got focus in both computers and communications, so
Well,
whichever one you would like to
let's
use.
give me a control science. Let's use computers. And difficulty in this is going to be a 4. You do have quite a bit of momentum, so feel free to use some of it.
May I assist?
You absolutely may. Same check.
I'd use all those 3 points of momentum to roll 4 dice personally.
I was reading my talents because I haven't looked at them in a very long time.
I feel you.
It's all right. We're getting back into the swing of things. It's all good.
Control what?
Science. It's 1 success from Matthew. Nice.
Yeah, give me another dice, please.
Oof.
Wow.
Oof. So,
Ooh,
couple things
ooh.
happen. You stick your hand in, you're looking around, and you actually start to kind of decode this with your positronic brain. You're looking at it and you're starting to see patterns, and the patterns start to look a little bit like binary, and you start to kind of go, okay, wait, I get this. It's really just mathematics. It's a code. I can decipher it. You're starting to understand it. And then you click on, instead of cancel, you click on end task, and the computer starts to flash red, and you realize you've made a mistake, and that ticking sound, that metronome that was slow, starts to speed up. It's like a tick, 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 until it's just this constant monotonous buzzing. This all takes place over the course of maybe 6 seconds, and then dead silence. And the lights dim to about 25%. It was bright, white sort of light. They dim all of a sudden, and you find yourselves in this like 25% of that light, almost like this dusk kind of level of lighting. And you start to go ahead.
From the console or the whole structure?
Whole structure.
Okay.
The console shuts down, goes red, flashing lights, the gauntlet disappears. The whole structure, the hallway that you're in, boom. Dark, almost darkness. Just very, very dark.
I seem to have made an error.
Can you undo it?
I don't know, Wolf. Can I undo it?
Well, that's a great
Control
question.
Z.
That's a great question. It's a great question. I'm going to add a little bit of flavor here, though. Add a little bit. You are going to have a chance to look at it and see if you can fix what you did. But you realize quickly, I'm going to give this one to you for free, Suri. You realize you've likely tripped some sort of alarm. All right? And as you start to quickly go through the steps of, undo, right-click undo, or reopen close tab, you start to...
Music thing.
Yeah. Well, that's weird. You start to hear with your Android hearing this like the clicking of claws on marble. Like if you've ever heard a dog run across hardwood floor, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. And as you perhaps look to the right, Series S, what your Android ears hear. That's funny. But as you look to the right, down the hallway, you see what appears to be a grayish, bipedal, reptilian type monster with glowing blue eyes. You see 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then more than a dozen of these creatures, like marching, but not all at once. Kind of like dogs, the hunting dogs, where like one goes left and right, and they're all over the place. They're jumping over each other. They're excited. They are excited. And they are moving quickly in your direction. All right. Now, what's maybe even more disconcerting is from somewhere behind them, you see another bipedal humanoid creature of some sort. And You never saw this person. Maybe you saw him in a report. I'll leave that up to you to make that decision, whether or not you saw him. But you see what appears to be an almost human-looking man dressed in clerical-type robes, all right? And he looks very perturbed. Very, very perturbed. And this is what this man looks like, all right? Kind of almost a cleric-y looking thing. And some of you should recognize this old son of a biscuit eater. Some of you should recognize this man as Gruis Utredid. Gruis Utredid, who was a member of the Gohat, the bad guys, all right? And he has in his hand what appears to be an old style, like, British hunting rifle, like a double, like, breech chamber, double barrel sort of thing, like a double action, all right? 2 triggers. And he's got it slung over his, like it's open. He's got it slung like he's out hunting. All right? How would you like to proceed?
I want to try to repair what I tripped.
Oh, dear. Give me a reason, science, difficulty. Are you ready? You prepared?
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty of 4. You done mucked up.
I hit an automatic success on all tasks using reason with my positronic brain.
That's fantastic. It's difficulty 3 now. Look at you. Read your character sheets. Brilliant.
Yeah, right.
Can I help?
Absolutely.
Please.
This hallway, is it just like are there any features on either side that like might be any alcoves or anything that might be
Gosh dang. Wow.
Whoa.
Surrey, just what up? I don't know what I'm not in a gang. I don't know what that means, but we're gonna move on. So yeah.
And the assist,
Yes, the assist.
Drew.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I believe in you, Drew Baca.
Very nice.
Very good. Very good. That is 2 momentum back. Sarah, you very quickly realized your mistake, and in a flash of an eye are able to click, 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 and undo the beautiful light show. The gamer gauntlet comes back out, and you see the lights, and you now are looking at the symbols and the numbers and everything swirling, but you're understanding it. It's like reading English. All right, so you see everything.
Needed a moment.
You just need a moment. Exactly. So as you figure that out, you look back over your shoulder and you see that those weird alien dog monsters and the man that was walking are gone. Disappeared. Which may be a good thing. You have access to this, what appears to be an information panel. Information computer. What information would you like to access? You can start asking some questions, looking at things. What would Siri go and try to figure out right now with this?
I believe Phelan had wanted to find like Central Hub, is what you had said, Schmandy.
I think this is what we were looking for in that. What was the name of the stuff we were trying to get?
Deus Ex Machium.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, see if there's a
Get a Me Homium, I think was the name of the version. Yeah. I want to go back to what we were.
Okay. Here's what I found on the web.
yeah, I'll see if you can ask find the location if there's anywhere within our reach that it is being stored or processed or generated.
Recalculating.
Here's what I'll tell you. You remember that big double doors with the blood star and all that good stuff? Behind that. Yeah, you're reading a large central room, like probably a football field size room. Lots of power coming from it. And then also what appears to be reservoirs, likely. So maybe some sort of power supply station or a control room, storage, a little mixture of everything. But it's right up there, back the way you came by about, say, 5-minute walk. You only meandered down this hallway for a little while. That was a really good roll, by the way.
She will inform the group of these, of all of the points. Was there anything else?
Any way to access any security systems in here and possibly disable them or take control of them ourselves?
You know that there are security systems. There are three. There are three specific security systems that are each like inactive but not deactivated. Like they're just turned off. Okay. One of them is called. One of them is basically like neutralize, incapacitate, destroy. That's the best way you can translate them.
If I may, I believe we should stay as far from the third option as possible.
Agreed.
Series, those entities that were approaching us, is there any information in the computer banks about what exactly they were? They just seemed to disappear as soon as the alarms were silenced. It's not natural. They're not organic beings.
I would not be surprised if those were two of the Centaurim's 3 defense mechanisms on board.
Is there any information about them?
Shaz, could you perceive them normally?
Let me ask you, with my sort of telepathic understanding, could I see
there.
them?
Yeah.
Okay. And as they were approaching, did I detect anything from them telepathically, like some kind of faint impression of thoughts or feelings?
Hunger and anger. The guy that had the breach action double barrel shotgun, anger. The other one's just hunger.
Simplistic and primitive impulses, but yes, they were there. They weren't just light projections or computer simulations. Of course, it's not impossible for sufficiently advanced holograms or artificial organisms to experience emotion. They might not have been real, not to diminish the reality of your existence.
Yeah. I know where you're going. Yeah. Series, is there anything in the database about projecting their power into space and maybe turning innocent androids into bags of sweaty flesh? Is there anything about that in the database?
I believe the appropriate expression would be ugly bags of mostly water.
Yeah, that.
Sorry, I don't know that.
Right.
Every time.
Just great. He looks over at Sass. You're gonna be stuck like this forever.
Human Flitz is peak Flitz for me right now. I just want to say
he's displeased.
He is peak Flitz. I love that. So you have a potential control room, power supply room location. It's a little bit back the ways you came. And no obstacles as far as you can see in front of you. How would you like to proceed?
Well, I believe that's our objective. Let's head towards it.
Before I disconnect from the terminal, I will, I guess, download a copy of the map and security system and then be able to share it with the others' tricorders.
I love that. Done. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So as you guys begin to meander your way down the hallway, that ticking metronome sound, you realize it has not returned. It is, if you've ever seen No Country for Old Men, there's no music in that movie. It's just awkward and eerie silence throughout the entire film when no one's talking. It's like that. It's that uncomfortable, you can start to hear your own heartbeat and the blood pumping through your veins kind of quiet. and you can't help but feel ever so slightly just unnerved, other than Siri. All right, because she doesn't feel anything. She's an android. All right, so
This is the first time I've ever felt unnerved. I don't like it.
Yeah, you're sweating even more. It's horrible. So maybe you should feel something. I don't know. I don't mean to put your emotions into your own brain.
No. You're right.
I'm being judgmental. Forgive me. So as you're moving your way down the hallway, there's this eerie sort of feeling that comes over you, and each of you starts to feel like something is watching you. You look left, you look right. It's just that stonework. The floor is the marble. You look up. There's that dim light. It's gotten a little brighter since Surrey cleared everything, but it's not back to the brightness it was. Maybe it's about 80% of the brightness you had before. So just ever so slightly dim, like maybe a couple of bulbs seem like they're burned out in a large factory, and it's just not quite as illuminated as it might be. And as you're making your way down the hallway, again, you can't shake this feeling like you're being watched. You look left, you look right, you look behind you, nothing. No dragging, no weird Klingon with a broadsword, just all of you walking. And as you get about 4 minutes in, up, you can see up ahead, that's just sort of the little impression push out of where that door is. You see that there is someone standing in front of the door. It is a hooded figure, yellowed robes. You can't see their face. Their hands are clasped, sort of steepled in front of them, or clasped in front of them, down low, just above their midsection. They look very much like a monk or some sort of nun. Again, head looking low, and they're just standing in front of the door. You're about 100 feet away from them at this point.
This place is fractally weird.
Lieutenant Commander Flitz, as you mentioned fractally weird, the area in front of you starts to take on a sort of glassy appearance. And as you push forward, it is almost as if you are pushing your hand through that weird kind of frosty ice that looks a little bit like glass shards, okay? And you can see it start to kind of flow around you, almost as though the air and the atmosphere has give to it, have some pushback, resistance, I should say. A little bit of resistance. And everything starts to look really, really rainbowy. Like you're tripping on LSD or very powerful mushrooms.
So you're sweaty and tripping.
And you look down at this yellow-robed woman, except she doesn't look a yellow-robed woman. She looks like a big, smiling, happy brown bear. And she turns to you, and she puts her her arms, her fists on her side, and she leans over, and she says, only you can prevent sweaty armpits. And Flitz, this makes you feel, I want you to channel the most aggressive that you can as a player, just utter fear, uncomfortableness, trauma. Just channel it for me, please.
We're talking only you can prevent sweaty armpits,
Yeah.
and then they do one of those crash cut
Yeah.
the dolly zoom
Correct.
into his face, and it's and his pupils just go
super wide. Yeah.
That's where we cut to commercial.
So you are experiencing being a physical flesh and blood person while losing your mind. Okay.
All I can hear is the Hypnotoad sound.
Wow. That is correct.
No, I've got
Exactly correct.
Hang on, I got something for y'all.
Is it the Hypnotoad?
You should be losing your mind. Ooh, Sunshine of Your Love.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay.
dun. That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's playing in the background. Yes.
Yeah.
If only it wasn't super copywritten.
Yeah.
What do you do, Flitz? What's the plan here?
Is he the only one who sees this?
Yeah, what do we see?
Currently, we're gonna deal with. I want to see how Flitz reacts here really quick, but you guys will see things. Trust me, it'll be fun.
Are you the perspiration bear?
And the bear kind of like leaps, and as it leaps, the floor becomes like these giant spongy mushrooms, and it bounces, and it starts to sing and frolic and say, "Come with me! Come! We're going to Perspiration Island, Flitzy!" And they're gonna run, just jumping. It's weird. It's weird, man.
That
It's an
doesn't
Old
sound
Spice
appealing at
commercial.
all.
There's a waterfall. It's just a giant armpit and
Ew.
sweat pouring.
And it's
I mean, it could
literally
have been worse.
bouncing.
Look at me.
It's
Look at
literally
man.
bouncing
Back to
from
me.
like place to place. Okay.
Blitz looks over at Phelan.
Yeah.
Do you want to go with us to Perspiration Island?
Yeah.
I think that's a great moment. We're going to pivot over to Shaw's. Shaw's, very similarly, the reality starts to look like sort of ice, your hands going up to it. You can see this in your mind's eye. You're kind of seeing reality form around you with your psychic ability. And then, suddenly, you actually see, with real eyes, and you can't sense anything. You can't sense any surface thoughts. You can't sense with your psychic ability anything around you. All you can do is see, and your vision is slightly blurry, like you need glasses.
It's not fair.
There was time now.
Up ahead, you see the woman in yellow looks up, and you just see this mischievous grin. That same grin, and then you hear her say, "I promise everything will be okay," which is the same thing the doctors told to you when they did the procedure on you, and it sounds just like that voice.
I would like to challenge one of my values right now, and that would be, what is it? Sorry, I've forgotten my values. I do remember it, but it's basically
You have no values. You're not in Starfleet.
Enar pacifism. So just give me 1 second.
Oh, I love that. Oh, it's getting intense.
Yeah, I'm challenging the value. Where is it now? Yeah, the forgotten heritage of the Enar pure pacifism.
Yeah.
And he has no phaser because he did not bring one along with him. He is going to just, in utter apoplexy of rage, he is going to just charge forward at this person and lunge for them, trying to like tackle them down to the ground, and he's going to reach for the throat to try to just strangle the life out of them in just this complete fit of irrational rage.
So just Kirk just screaming, and then just captain's double fist.
Oh, not even that. He's not even like
wow.
striking at them. He's
Just
trying
tackle.
to strangle the life out of them. Basically, he's
Just
reaching for the
pure
throat.
unadulterated rage.
Yes.
Challenging that is fantastic. So you do get a determination, and you challenge it. You have to replace at the end of the session, which I'm excited about. So you charge forward, lunging towards them. Give me a fitness security with a difficulty of 3. Difficulty of 3.
Yeah, that's going to be terrible.
I'm going to spend.
Phelan will assist.
Okay, so as soon as he charges, Phelan charges. Love that.
Wait, so Phelan sees the same thing?
He does not. But he sees his comrade charging, so it sounds like he runs with him.
He's like, yeah, let's go.
Something's going down. It's time.
All right. I want to see through Shaw's scene here, charging this monk in yellow, this woman in yellow. But I want to give Phelan something to work with as well, because you're jumping into the scene. Okay, Phelan, as you begin to charge forward, I'm going to let you get in the assist, but as you charge forward, you start to feel really, really, really old. And like you watch as you look down at your arms, and your muscles begin to literally before your eyes atrophy, and you start to look as though you're made of just skin and bone. And your arms feel heavy to lift up, and your legs start to feel spongy and weak. And as you rush forward, you start to slow down. You are going to get like a tackle in, but you feel like a man who is 130.
Ooh.
And just muscle mass gone, can't keep weight on, pooping pancakes. I mean, just terrible position. All right. You're just in a bad spot. Okay. And you don't have the strength to lift your weapon. you also are having a really hard time remembering winning any fight in your life. All you can remember are the losses. Give me a fitness security. You may assist. I don't want to jerk you on that. Shaz, did you make your check?
That's 1d20, correct?
1d20.
So I'm spending the point of determination I just got from challenge my value
You're
to get 2 free
hand-to-hand
successes.
combat?
You're a sassy devil.
And I'm buying an extra dice with 2 momentum that I just spent.
You're a sassy devil.
So
Applicable focus, hand-to-hand combat.
Absolutely.
2.
Oh, we got this one already. We got success. Now we're just stacking momentum.
Thanks.
I love that.
I
journey.
may be old, but I'm still a Klingon.
Let's
Ah,
go.
Let's get it.
it's difficulty 4.
Yes,
Okay, so 5 successes.
you are fantastic.
Very
good.
nice.
So as you tackle this creature to the ground, you realize that it is not someone of flesh and blood. Instead, it is a smooth spherical head, metallic, so metal, no eyes, nothing. All right, just a smooth spherical head, long metalled arms, 3 fingers and a thumb, and it's got these little light kind of projectors around it that are creating this image of a monked woman, okay? And as you lunge forward and you tackle it down, you smack it to the ground, you start to strangle it, and you realize you're strangling metal, and the robot kind of head leans up to look at you, and as it does so, you see it take its one hand, bring it around, and start to strangle you back. And as it does so, it takes its right hand and then just jabs its pointed fingers, right into your stomach, like right down here, like where if you were human, where your appendix would be. And it goes in about 3 inches. And it
Damn.
burns like a motherfucker. And you look down, you see your own blood. It's blurry, slightly blurry, but you see your own blood. And you have a splitting headache. And you hear that voice again. I promise you everything's going to be okay.
I think that without even being consciously aware of what has transpired with respect to the injury, he feels that flash of pain, but he is still caught in that rage. Feeling the metal not deforming or shifting under his hands, he just starts trying to jam the head down against the floor as if to crack it open.
I love that.
And there's that initial sort of burst of adrenaline as the blood starts pouring out of him to try to counteract the effects. So he's probably still got some strength in him, but it's quite literally quickly bleeding away.
So if I may take a little creative license here, you take this metallic head and I imagine you're roaring top of your lungs angrily, just smash, smash, smash. And every time you hit the metal to the marble floor, you hear a denting and scraping sound, just a smash, smash, and you hear that voice, I promise you everything, everything will be, everything will be, and then finally with that last kerploosh, the head dents in, you see bits of metal and circuitry splatter out behind, some sort of this translucent but very viscous with a hint of purple fluid starts to pool out around its head, almost like blood. And that sound of, I promise you everything will be okay, goes. And then that pain of being stabbed roughly 1.5 inches wide and about 3 inches deep, a very deep laceration and a stab wound, that takes over and you are in excruciating pain.
Yeah, I think the roaring takes on a completely different cast and tone, and as the thing slumps down to the ground in that pool of its own inner workings and the sort of android viscera, he collapses off to the side and rolls off of it, that wound opening up further as the clawed hand is forcibly sort of torn from it, and he clutches at his side, sort of heaving on the ground. Don't everyone come and help me at once.
Everyone
please.
stares at you, watching you die.
Do we have a medical officer with us?
Good news.
Not
Good news.
anymore.
Good news, Schmandy. Lieutenant Phelan, you look normal again. Lieutenant Commander Flitz, you no longer see Perspiration Bear going to Perspiration Island. And
Oh no.
Captain Isha, not Captain Isha,
Does.
Lieutenant Rojas, you unfortunately didn't get your mine trip because
That's fine. That's
he
fine.
killed it. He killed it dead, which was an epic
Nice.
scene. I love that. It was amazing.
I mean, so Rojas has a 2 in medicine.
Oh, I guess we should be looking at that.
So he's gonna
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
he's gonna rush over with his tricorder and like, can we say he's got a medical kit?
You know
I've got
what?
a 2 as well.
Yes.
Good luck.
Give me a momentum.
Yeah, you can have you can have one.
I'm gonna take it. Take it all.
And
I'm gonna spend
he's
6
gonna
threat and say you don't. No, I'm just kidding. It's terrible.
I'll assist if possible.
No, do it. Do it.
You'll
Spread the
assist.
thread.
You'll assist
Borg.
in making him not have one.
No.
Why are you helping me? I'm the bad guy.
Siri takes it and just throws it into some,
Go waste bin.
I guess, psychedelic air
Yeah.
where we can't get it because we'll just start tripping out again.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna scan the victim
Mhm.
with my tricorder.
Okay.
Victim.
Give me an
That's
insight
what you've
medicine
been
difficulty of
delegated to
2.
now.
Insight medicine difficulty 2.
Oh, this is not gonna be
I have faith.
good.
To assist
You know what?
him.
Yeah, and I'm gonna buy an extra. I'm gonna spend another point of momentum and buy an extra die
I love
with this. Let's go. With no applicable focus.
It burns us.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
Oh damn! Good job. You get a momentum right
Yeah.
back. Well done, sir.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
Perspiration
So
Island?
you know
man?
those wounds, like old medieval arrows that would strike you, and they were like the 4 blades, so that, or the 4 little like tips. So it went in, and as it came out, it would tear and really lacerate. His wound, if this were medieval England or France, would probably be deadly, but you have the equipment to fix it. All right, it's gonna take some time. He's gonna be a little weakened. If he gets hit again, you'll likely drop unconscious. That was a pretty deep wound, but you were able to very quickly patch it, regenerator, do what you need to do, and Shaz, your wound is sealed. The bleeding is stopped, but there is a ever-present dull throbbing pain that doesn't go away, and it stays there. And as you're watching him, literally with your eyes watching him fix you, your vision goes dark again, and your sensation of being able to sense with your psychic ability returns. Your normal, quote unquote, ability to see and interact with the environment around you has returned to you at this point.
How you feeling?
And you could see as he's staring down at that the work that you're doing on his wound, halfway through that, he just kind of like slumps to the ground, and all that tension bleeds out of him.
What does tension blood look like?
Well played. It's sort of an Icarus humor.
Mm.
Mm.
That's what happens when you fly too close to the sun.
Oh
And
boy.
He he just sort of stumbles over it as if he's still in shock.
Okay. All right. I need you to focus, Doctor, and tell me if there's any lingering pain.
Yes, of course. Yes. He tries to rise, and you can see that he flinches as a result of the sort of tension or the pressure that's being put on the remnants of the wound.
I think Rojas will prevent him from doing it with just a firm hand on his shoulder. So, no, stay there, and tell me if there's pain and where it is. Is it localized or general?
Localized, approximately 4 inches from the right lower abdominal muscle.
Okay. Well, that's consistent with the area of the wound. I'm going to give you a little bit of anapropylene. It's going to make you lightheaded.
No, we can't afford that. I'm accustomed to migraines. A little bit of extra pain is not going to be trouble.
All right, well, take it slow. Doctor's orders.
Your attempts at humor hurt more than the injury, Mr. Rojas.
Well, you know what they used to tell us at the academy? When we
No,
were
trust me, I'm not aware of what they would tell you at the academy.
right. Well,
Something
in
suitably
Mako,
asinine, I'm sure.
yeah, in Mako training, they would say if you're well enough to bitch, you're well enough to walk and get up.
Damn, girl.
I don't believe I ever got that lesson.
Because you never needed it.
Hmm.
Now, the non-combatants are meant to remain behind those of us with combat training, Mr. Chithane.
You see that now that he's standing on shaky legs, all he's doing is staring down at that shattered skull, if you will, of the android.
Oh,
Am I still tripping?
No, you are back to reality.
you're still sweaty though.
Not as sweaty as before.
Oh wow.
Well, slightly better.
I turned the air on when I was in control of everything else.
Yeah.
Well, he's back from Perspiration Island.
Yes.
So
He got it all out of him.
did any of you see the bear that promised to take us to Perspiration Island?
Negative.
Can't say I did.
There are no creatures, nor is there an island of that designation on this station.
We've encountered
Good.
Sounds like a
encountered
horrible
entities
place.
that have
I
been-
didn't see that either. And it would be really crazy if I had.
You're a terrible liar.
Lieutenant
Are your
Phelan,
pupils still blown?
a little bit. Lieutenant Phelan, you were to say something.
Yes, we've encountered entities before that have been able to project holograms or produce hallucinations or other psychic phenomena. It wouldn't be surprising if this was another instance of the same.
Hallucinations? Is that what hallucinating is like?
Sometimes.
It's a nightmare sometimes. Literally, waking nightmares.
Perspiration Island. He just gets quiet and shudders every once in a while.
Mhm.
If everyone is well, may we continue?
I don't think I'll ever be well again.
You'll learn to live with it. Suck it up. Is that what the Mako phrase was?
I believe it was something about being a bitch.
Yeah. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mako. Don't be no bitch.
Well, Siri, do you know where we're supposed to go from here, based on the information you were able to obtain?
I do. This way.
Wonderful.
You are standing right in front of the large wooden-looking doors with the root tree system that goes up to a giant flower that blossoms and looks to be exploding into a massive blood-red sun. And there's actually handles on this. I'm not going to be like, and there's no obvious way to get in. No, there's actually handles. There's door handles. You can just open it.
Door handles open out towards us or push in?
It's a great question. They look to push in.
Cool. Push.
Push. As you push, it's a little difficult, but then it gives. And as it opens, you are met with a powerful scent, powerful smell.
Perspiration.
Of,
No.
Smells like onions.
We found the island.
Of iron and rotten meat.
I will turn off my olfactory senses.
And as you push the door open, you see before you Lieutenant, or I should say, was it Ensign Siri, right?
I think I'm also a lieutenant commander.
You're a lieutenant commander.
Lieutenant
Am I the
Commander Siri.
lowest ranking officer here? Is everyone else a lieutenant commander?
You're a
No,
lieutenant
no,
commander.
I'm an ensign.
And you see before you what looks to be a scene straight out of the Doom series.
Out
Just
of-
viscera, gore, bloodshed, bodies exploded, ripped apart, just an entire room. It looks like there was a firefight, some sort of battle, and people, beings, animals just got exploded. Chunky salsa style. The room itself appears to be a mixture of storage. There is a large view screen, almost like a big window in front, which looks out towards the flickering black hole into a white hole. So the room is in this constant flux every second or two, where it goes dark and then it's white, and dark and white, and dark and white. And there is some ambient lighting, but there's this constant flickering noise. So if anyone has epilepsy, you're like you should be having an episode right now. Okay? So it's flickering back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the first couple of rows are these large shelves that have these giant canisters, containers. They almost look like propane tanks on them. All right. And then beyond that, you see rows of seating in front of computers, very like NASA moon landing style, almost in the same sort of old, like boxy tube television. It looks almost a little out of place. And then as you move forward, farther up, you start to see this sort of more digital, modern, very similar to the computer console you had interacted with, Siri. And then finally, that large open window that looks out into the black hole in front of you. The entire room, though, not every inch, but someone was obviously sitting at that chair, Chunky Salsa. Someone may have been moving over here, Chunky Salsa. Not a living soul that you can detect as it stands. How would you like to proceed?
I think I would vomit.
Yeah. Rojas just flicks his medical kit shut.
I might be missing the point entirely, but is there a pattern to the flickering lights? Or is it just on off, on off, on off?
So the flickering lights of the black hole, it's the same sequence that you guys had registered because you're looking out this view window to that black hole. You're in the central ring, and this is some sort of control chamber. Does that answer your question, or are you asking something different?
Earlier you had described something flickering, so
Yes.
it may have just been ambiance.
Yeah, it was just ambiance. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
you for asking.
I have Sarah has already turned off sense of smell. She will walk in further. Try to ascertain which control panel is the least disgusting.
4 rows of the central rows. There is 3 computer terminals in that is in pristine, clean condition. Somehow it missed the viscera.
Fantastic.
Phelan, as she's headed that way, Phelan will enter, take a big deep whiff, and just with a rush of nostalgia for an instant, he will start inspecting the remains. If enough of it is intact that it could be recognizable as any species that he would know.
Maybe you found Flitz's bear.
So, it's not. It's literally any of the players, people here that have played any of the Doom games, and you rocket something and it's just chunky. It just
ludicrous jibs.
Ludicrous jibs. That is correct. That is what you see. You do find a couple of these circular-like weapons. It has it's like a 270-degree circle. There's a handle that looks to have like a trigger built into it where you just squeeze, and it seems to shoot out almost like a plasma cutter from that one space game where you fight like the weird monsters in space.
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Thank you. That's the one. Thank Dead Space. It's kind of like almost like that. It seems to shoot out. Its power supply appears to be broken or done. But as you look at it, you can see like one of the only partly physical thing you find is like most of a hand. Okay, and that most of a hand is very similar to a certain creature that you found and met. It's yellowish, 4 fingers and a thumb, and a little furry. Reminds you of Iwik's hand. Maybe a similar species.
He did say he was one of the Centaurum. Maybe it was a different faction of the same people.
Right. Well, I'm, for no other reason than to be tactically sound, Lieutenant, I'm going to be out here.
Yes,
I'll-
keep the entrance clear.
Theory, you're at this terminal. What are you looking for?
What happened?
Hmm.
Access camera, access any outgoing, incoming messages.
You very quickly,
What
based
happened?
on your fantastic check earlier, you have a intricate knowledge of like the language, so you can read the computer. It's pretty archaic in some ways, or maybe just simple, depending on the way you want to look at it. You start to quickly go through the data logs, etc., like what happened, and you're reading these entries like a Fallout style. On this date of this day, this happened, and I was really mad at Barbara because she went to the water fountain without me, and we always go together. So it's just like a lot of mundane stuff, almost like officey style. A little boring actually, until finally you start to get to these sections where the writings start to become more and more frantic and more fanatical. You know, the voice of the void, it speaks to us, and it starts to become almost this cultish like stuff. And you know, we will turn everything into the existence that it needs, and yada yada yada, and we will be here. And it starts to become more and more maddening. And then you finally find a video log entry of a security recording, and all it is about a 10-second clip of one of the creatures that looks very similar to Iwik standing up, shouting, and then just taking out 2 of these weapons and just starting to shoot everyone around him. And then others start to draw weapons, and it turns into just a bloodbath. And about 10 seconds in, somebody shoots the camera, so it stops. But at that point, more than 2/3 of the room was dead.
We don't know if the original instigator made it or not, according to that video.
You do not know according to that video, no.
Before the original instigator had gotten up, what were they doing? Like looking out at the view screen,
Looking out at the view screen.
Okay.
It was a constant. The one thing you would pick up, they were all like, again, like NASA sending people to the moon, like the moon landing. Like everyone's looking up, they're watching screens. It's very much like that. And as they're looking out at the hole, you see that it is not flickering. It's just a sort of like a grayish light coming out. So it's in like a stable sort of stable position, it's stable between the light and the dark. All right, it's just a gray. And then as soon as the firing starts, it starts to flicker. That's the last thing you see right before the recording ends. It starts to flicker. All right.
Did Shaw's come into the room?
I believe.
I think he stumbled into the room, and he's just sort of like standing there by the doorway.
Okay. And did Flitz come into the room?
Flitz is, I think, outside of the room vomiting still.
Okay.
Dry heaving.
So,
Really sweaty
Siri.
This is not.
All right.
He was
Siri
not
will
prepared for this.
inform the other 2 officers who were in the room of her discovery and offer a conjecture that the original instigator may have gotten a message from some type of implanted message, possibly from the flickering lights. It is unclear whether or not that they perished in this fight.
Are you saying that? Forgive me. What happened to us, or something similar happened to him, or
Based on the information that I have found, these do seem to tie together.
yes, that might be reasonable. And he'd actually like to, without kind of warning or indication, he's going to spin around, walk out of the room, and then scan the remains of that robot that he had destroyed.
Mhm.
What I want to know is this Centaurum technology? Does it correspond with the facility itself, like this is meant to be on the facility, or is it something alien to it?
Alien to it.
Huh. He's going to turn around and then walk over to Siri. Can you review the sensor logs for this room? What we took readings of the android as it was affecting us. Is there anything that correlates with it from the sensor logs of this room?
Wolf?
You don't pick up any readings that correlate the robot having been in the room. It is completely foreign to the entire facility. Like, it's different make, different metal. Like, everything about it is just different. It's made by something or someone else.
What I'm
Going-
kind of
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
Going along that thread, would it be possible for someone to access when it arrived on the station
Ooh.
and how?
So you guys picked up Iwik, what, a month ago at this point? Or was it? No, it wasn't even a month ago. It was like days ago at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh,
Literally
okay.
days ago. This robot arrived at the station at about the same time you released him from his prison. Is the correlation you're picking up? Yeah.
Based on the scan that I just took of the robot, does it show the same dimensional signature as what we discovered in that pocket dimension?
Does.
As you scan that robot, can you figure out what its primary purpose was?
Or access any of its remaining memory.
Yeah, that too.
Once he detects that it's from an alternative dimension, probably, he's going to turn over to Phelan and holding out the tricorder and also calling over Flitz. Chief, I need your help over here.
Oh God. Okay. 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 He gets up and goes over, takes a look.
I've found, and in this case, he gestures towards the tricorder, indicating Phelan. This thing may have been set loose from the prison that we. No, the prison from which we rescued our guest, Iwik. I don't know what it's for or why it's here, but I think that's where it came from.
You believe it had the do you believe it may have influenced what occurred inside this room? I say, just gesturing to the splatterfest. I guess.
I don't know.
Phelan is going to try and hail the Erebus.
Mm.
No response.
So
Erebus.
Did you do
Erebus,
it?
you copy.
Static.
Sir, maybe there's a communications array in that control room that we could use.
Yes, let's see if we can't hail it.
Siri, you're in the control room, still at the console, doing your research.
Mm-hmm.
When the flickering light of this black hole to white hole, black hole to white hole, there is a shadow that is strangely shaped like a certain starship that starts to creep over the window. And you actually watch as the Erebus begins to meander its way past your view screen and looks like it's making a beeline, not quickly, just an impulse, towards the black and white hole.
Sir,
Yes,
do you see that?
they do. Is there any way to intercept it?
I can try to reach them from here. Station
Maybe-
to the Erebus.
We're gonna have the captain respond. Captain, little bit of what's been going on in the Erebus for you.
Mhm.
About 5 minutes after the away team left, the crew all started suffering from acute dementia, forgetting names, who they were, where they were, what was happening, and they started to lose their minds. The only people that maintained composure, for whatever reason, probably a little bit because they're player characters, were the good doctor, you, and that's it. Just the good doctor and you. Everyone else has lost their minds.
Everyone else is off the ship.
They're just, they're off their rockers, as it were. All right?
They done lost their damn minds.
And
Mhm.
there is a distinct lack of a certain guest aboard your ship, Iwik.
Oh crap!
He is missing as can be. All right,
Mhm.
couldn't find him. Don't know. Maybe you didn't look for him. But you get a hail. The crew out of their minds, and you perhaps were called away from the bridge when this all started going down.
I think I've
and
got something for you on this.
You've lost access to the bridge at this point. All right, like you can't get.
Let
to
me,
it. Please. Go
yeah,
ahead.
let me flavor this a little bit.
Please, go for it. Take some creative license.
So when you hail him, the captain comes back, and his voice is very quiet, and he just says, "This is truth."
This is Lieutenant.
We are.
Phelan.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to relay what we've found. We found an entity aboard this
But
station.
Phelan, keep your voice down.
We have found an entity aboard this station. Corresponds with our guest, Iwik. Seemed to arrive on this station approximately the same time that Iwik was released from his prison.
Well, we've suffered a series of setbacks up here. We're not in control of the ship.
Understood. Captain, if I may provide some advice. Keep yourself isolated from the rest of the crew and keep yourself well armed.
I can promise you 50% of that, Lieutenant. I'm currently in a Jeffries tube making my way to auxiliary control.
Understood. We will attempt to address the situation from here.
It's funny you mentioned Iwik. The doctor has reported to me that he is missing.
I see. Well,
If you can, if that station has any kind of equipment. Might I suggest a tractor beam?
We'll attempt to locate one, sir.
Good luck.
And to you.
Scene of the captain crawling through Jeffrey's tube.
Just for Captain's doing Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yeah.
Captain and Stern are
barefoot?
doing Die Hard.
Laughs.
Yeah. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ho. I've got a Type 3 phaser. You know?
Oh, boy.
There it is.
Beautiful.
So we're
Beautiful.
back aboard the Star Forge. There it is. Star Forge. I keep wanting to say Stargate, but that's a completely different IP. So good one. But this aboard the Star Forge. What are we doing? What's the battle plan here?
I can see if there's a tractor beam, and or I would also like to scan if the what's his face is over here now.
Ooh. You're scanning for new life forms aboard the ship?
Sure.
Hey, there's a new life form aboard the ship.
Excellent.
Yeah, guess who it is?
It's what's his face?
It is-
Iwik.
It is indeed.
Sir, I have located both items.
Right. Mr. Chethane, Mr. Flitz, if you would attempt to make use of the tractor beam to get the ship under control.
Flitz like tiptoes over, like squidging like intestines out of the way with like his boot, just like
Ah,
and then just does like the little shake off on one of like the consoles that he has to go to.
yeah.
Just
Rojas with me.
what am I rolling there?
Give me a tractor beam is what? Daring? No. Control?
Control security.
It is control security. Control security, please.
Lieutenant, where
Difficulty
would you like me?
of 2.
If I may, Lieutenant, perhaps Siri should assist with the tractor beam, and I will accompany you. Pure force might not be sufficient if you're going to engage our guest, should it become necessary.
I'm gonna burn a momentum for another die. And focus of power systems.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yeah, you will.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means yes, you will.
Okay, you succeeded. Good job. So there is this white beam of light that shoots out from right above the view screen and latches on to the 2 nacelles of the Erebus. It's torn in half. Good game, everybody. The campaign's over.
Great.
All right.
Grab onto it.
Make a
right?
heroic sacrifice.
Make a
and
heroic
the
sacrifice.
Rebellion
The
remembers
rebellion
them.
lives on.
Hooray.
All right.
We've
Yes, it's wonderful. I love that that's a running joke now. It was a good story. So we watch as it grabs on, and the ship was moving towards the black hole, white hole, and then it stops in place. The tractor beam has stopped its slow advance. It's just still. As Phelan, Shrew, Rojas, excuse me, and Chethane, you were going as well. Is that correct?
If the lieutenant will let me.
It's up to him.
Yes.
Beautiful.
no game
You
over.
enter out of the hallway. It's standing where you guys had really appeared earlier is none other than the good Iwik. And he's got his little staff in hand, and he has got that smile on his face. And he looks, for a moment, surprised to see you. Simply surprised to see you. And he says, well, it's quite strange. I wasn't expecting to see all of you here. Not to say that I'm not delighted that you've survived, but, well, there are things that must be done, pieces that must be put into place, and if you stand in my way, I will simply have to remove you from the board. I'll make this as simple as I can for you at this point.
You know, while my pacifistic friend here might sneer at it. I prefer keeping things simple.
You hear from the other room, tear his head off.
I placed my trust in you, and instead you have endangered people under my protection.
No, that is precisely where you're wrong. You sound just like the others. They always said that I was mad, that my plan at ending this century-long conflict. And he starts to do his bad guy monologue, right? And he goes on, and you guys can kind of
Sir?
zone out.
Rojas, shoot him.
Yeah.
Yes, and you see, it was
Hector
I
Vader.
shall
Bam!
unmake reality, thus saving,
Security.
and then you shoot him. Give me a
Maximum power.
control security.
Yeah, I'm going to buy an extra die.
Amazing.
I have a focus,
Okay.
and
Oh,
let's. This counts as an activation for Rojas, though, doesn't it?
it does.
Yes, it does.
I'm going to. Oh gosh,
Did you give him his last activation?
I gave him his last one.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a value.
Ooh, talk to me.
Let's see. It had to be something. It would have to be something relevant to this scene.
It would.
You know what? His his value is going to be when in doubt, shoot him. Oh no, you know what? Shoot first, ask questions later.
I like that. That's
Ew.
good. That's good. That's good. That's beautiful.
And I'll tap that value to reroll that that fumble.
Beautiful.
Well, you can reroll both those zeros if you want.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
Let's
do
reroll both of
Do it.
those.
More chance for
and-
complication.
Yeah, let's do it.
Ideally.
So we're gonna roll 2d20s.
Oh. Roll me 10
challenge dice?
Yeah, roll me 10 challenge dice. Let's see what you do.
Okay,
That was way too good of a roll.
cool.
It's only difficulty 2 to shoot somebody, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let me check one thing real quick.
And you see, the way in which I shall
attention,
protect
sorry.
reality is by
God.
and you draw fire.
It just vaporizes.
It strikes him in the chest, turns to dust. Gone.
Dang.
Just gone. His last
And
words
he just-
are, and I shall zoof.
And you just hear, yeah, it's just Rod. Shut up.
Inside the control room, Sarah will turn to Flitz. Did you hear something?
Yeah, I think he just shot that dude. That's pretty awesome. Ugh.
Excellent shot, Rojas.
Wow.
Thank you, sir. I
That
learned
was,
from the best,
that
sir.
was crazy. What a roll.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, did his staff go too when you shot him?
Oh, yeah. Everything got vaporized.
Dang.
I know.
Wait,
You know
did we
what?
get that?
No.
Was that a quest item?
The staff lands on the ground because that'd be a
Because
great
I
thing.
thought we had the staff, or we had something.
That'd be a
from the
great
staff earlier.
thing to add
Add to the captain's collection.
We're gonna keep.
Oh
that
my
staff.
God.
Yes.
Captain
Yeah.
Captain starts collecting grizzly war trophies.
We all know
Oh,
he
yes.
has little memento collection wall. We're like, oh my God, what can we get on this away trip for him?
So Wolf,
Yes. Sir.
remember, since I was doing lethal damage there, take a point of threat.
Yep. I got it. Don't worry.
No, I'm just saying.
Wasn't something from the staff to help us save Ardell's people, though? I don't remember.
Yeah, we took that off though and put it in. The
Oh, okay.
It's
So
very,
Yeah.
very
Okay.
safely kept for any plot convenient reasons.
perfect.
Yeah,
So you have a wooden staff now.
Correct.
cool.
Awesome. You're welcome. I didn't do anything with it.
And yeah, Rojas actually goes over and picks it up, and just like under his breath, so nobody could hear it. You just hear him go, Bilbo Baggins. It's just like-
That's really funny. As you pick up the staff, I'm gonna spend 4 threat, and I need you
Yeah.
to give me a fitness and
Oh
fitness
my
medicine check,
God.
please.
fitness medicine, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's
Cool.
really funny that you thought you were gonna have your cute Lord of the Rings moment. Instead, fuck you.
It turns
We're
into
playing a
snake.
space game, not a fantasy game.
So you watch
Let
as Rojas picks it up and goes, "Roja, I'm Bilbo," and he starts to scream.
Oh shit!
And as he starts to scream, Rojas explodes, sending chunky salsa everywhere. And standing in his place is none other than Iwik. And he brushes off a little bit of Rojas.
May I?
You may.
Now, what was I saying?
And that's exactly it. Now, what was I saying? Correct?
What
Why
the
do-
fuck?
Why do I want to say Bilbo Baggins all of a sudden?
Aaron, you may take over as Iwik for the time
Oh
being.
my god!
I think you know where I'm going with this.
Right, so now are you willing to listen?
Don't suppose we have any choice, do we?
Correct. Not
While
one-
he's monologuing, sorry, I just want to say one thing.
She's
I'm
like,
going to try to scan surreptitiously the staff
Yeah.
and see if there's any way that I can disrupt it with some kind of signal, even just momentarily,
Ooh.
with my tricorder.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that yet, but I'm going to gather information as he continues on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron. Give me your best. I'm an evil villain. My plan is to unmake reality because if I do that,
Yeah.
I save everybody. That's the only way to defeat the Gohad.
Yeah, I got you.
You know where I'm going with this. Lay it down, brother.
In my centuries in that prison and for decades before, I have had one dream: galactic peace. The more I pondered the thought, the more it occurred to me that there was only one solution: eliminate choice. And I had but two ways to do it: become all things to all people and ascend to godhood. But I'm not mad. Instead,
I'm that way.
we remove choice by removing life. We hit the reset button, and just like a faulty lab experiment, we take the entire line back to formula and let the galaxy try again. This facility is going to let me do that. I regret that you visitors from a distant galaxy will be caught in the crossfire, but you can take comfort in the knowledge that a small portion of your genetic material will be donated to the next cycle.
You'll be remembered for the revolution.
The rebellion will remember you.
I'm not flesh and blood. Thanks. Bye.
Wow.
Now,
That's great.
if
Wow.
you'll excuse me.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, please.
No monologues.
All right, hold on. Shaz, you wanted to make a scan of the staff and figure
Yes.
out what was going on. Give me a insight and science, a difficulty of 4. It's a difficult one.
Okay, I'll spend that other point of determination that I had earlier on. And I'll spend 2 momentum to roll 3 dice.
Beautiful. Oh my lord.
There
5
we
successes.
So you quickly realize that this staff is not a physical
6.
object. It is a series of nanites
Yes.
that are both hilarious. Fucking C4A. There is a bunch of nanites. I'm not gonna stop it. No, off. There's a bunch of nanites that make up the staff and create a solid form. And you are reading a multitude of genetic material that is housed in these little nanites that likely inject it into a host body. So he's got a little resurrection staff, is what that thing is, right? And so probably when you originally tapped it on him or gave it back to him, it probably re-injected himself back into the body that was going crazy and dying, right? It's a little messed up. Sorry that I killed your character, Aaron, but that was a badass monologue.
Yeah, I'm good with it, man.
It was pretty sweet though. You rolled with it. And now I have to add a section to our game of dead characters. Over here and be like the Fallen. Add subfolder. The Fallen. And we're gonna go over to, let's see. He was what? Security, right?
He was security, yeah.
Rojas.
You know what? That's he was the ensign. He was the red shirt.
Just the red shirt.
He was.
So
I
it's a
didn't
gold
even
shirt in this,
intend it. It just happened. But yes, he was the red shirt.
That shirt was definitely red by the end of it.
Okay.
There was very little shirt left, but I digress.
Wrap it up.
All right. Yeah. Yuckity yuck. All right. Moving on. So you realize that the staff it's a reset button for him that allow him to live on. Somebody picks it up. So, but Flitz, you're gonna shoot him in the back.
Hell yeah! What a baller move if
Give
the
me-
captain
just give
actually
me a-
gets this thing.
Give me a control security.
Control security.
Yeah.
Literally anything.
Yeah.
Take him down again.
I'm gonna use a momentum.
To make it lethal.
Turn it up to 11.
Turn the phase. But this phaser, top 3, goes
Goes
all
up
the
to
way to
11.
11.
Well,
Could I assist with
Why don't just
that?
make
You may.
10 more powerful and make
By
that
distracting him.
Well,
Oh,
by
fix-
disrupting the staff in some way using my tricorder.
Ooh, you know what? Here's what you can do. You can very quickly modify your tricorder to chuck it like a grenade, so it sends out this electromagnetic pulse that will disrupt the nanites, so that as he dies, his genetic material doesn't get copied, and the staff is effectively made inoperative. And you
Nice.
very quickly come up with this idea, like, oh, they're nanites, oh, I can disrupt them, and but I'm gonna have you make a check for that, and that check will be a control science, and that's your assist. So just roll control science, see if you get any successes. And Flitz, same for you. What do we got? Oh, there's the 2 successes. Oh, no assist. All right, no assist. However, it's still a success, and I'd still like to flavor that your little bomb thing works, because I think that's cool. And so you chuck it. Flitz, you're going to roll me 8 challenge dice. I want to kill this guy.
Good this time.
It's just fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never rolled a challenge die in this game.
You absolutely have. You click on the challenge dice button, and then it's a little button at the bottom, and then you
There it
click on
is.
the number of dice, and you put 8, and then you click submit. It's my little macro that we made. Doopity doop.
Cute.
Neat.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Wow.
You're amazing. You're a good friend.
Wow.
Meow.
Heyo.
Goddamn. So, Aaron,
Deuces.
you finish your monologue. Now, if you'll excuse me, and then Flitz almost drops the phaser because his hands are so clammy, but he manages to fire. What's his final line? You absolutely may, Aaron.
Can I give you his last words?
Sweet
please.
irony.
And just maybe there's still a little bit of Rojas left in him from the recombination. He just looks around at Flitz. He just locks eyes on you. He's not angry. He's just disappointed. And he just looks at you and goes, "Fool of a toque."
Oh my god.
It just evaporates.
Oh my
Talon
God.
will then very casually walk over to the staff,
Don't touch
point
it.
his phaser at it, and just
Okay.
disintegrate it.
Oh. So most of it's disintegrated, all the nanites, except for like a little 6-inch piece that is actually just wood.
Cool. Bring that back for me.
I want the
Yep.
captain to have something.
Yep,
Alright.
yep, he's gonna have
He's
something.
gotta have something.
Sorry, your crewman's dead, but we brought you a toothpick.
We lost him.
That's a fair trade.
I
Consolation.
think you'd
prize.
rather have the toothpick than the crewman.
Wow. In the arms of a Rojas, fly away from here. The gold dark and there you shall not pass. Anyway, we're moving on. So we're gonna do a little bit of exposition because the big bad's been killed very quickly. Some
Yay.
aggressive rolls. No, it's good.
I would like to check the computers in the station to see if there's some way to get me changed back.
I'm
Nope.
gonna spend
Get wrecked.
I'm gonna spend a couple threat, and there's not. That's gonna be a side quest, Flitz. You're gonna be human for a while because it's interesting to me. Fully just gonna say it. I find it interesting. So we're gonna deal with that. We're gonna see Flitz as a human for a couple of more.
But what if he was a Fey Knight?
Ooh, that is true. He could be a Fey Knight. Yeah, I know you wanted to be an Arcane Archer, but you get to be a Fey Knight. Command Flitz.
Yeah. Thanks.
So we see a reconnection of the ship. The members of the crew on board start to gain their memories back. They start to remember who they are, what they're doing. It's a very quick sort of recovery as soon as Iwik is killed. You regain control of the ship captain, and you're able to transfer the substance. What's ironic is the substance he mentioned does what he planned. Like, he was a good liar because he wasn't lying to you. He just was omitting the truth of what he was really here for, right? So it was very easy. And you get the substance. You still have the part that's going to help save Ardol's people, and you're able to transfer it over to your ship, and very quickly able to put together this plan to effectively create like a mini wormhole back to where you were, but it's very unstable. It will only last for one trip, right? And you have just enough of the material to do this. Okay, so effectively, it's they have like wormhole technology where they can like the Borg do, where they do trans-dimensional warp, right? And they just like go from one place to another right away. It's kind of like that, but it's a literal wormhole. They rip a hole in the fabric of space with this stuff, and you're able to figure out how to modulate the deflector array to do that, because that's what we do in Star Trek, is modulate the deflector array. That's very true.
Everything.
Yeah. Everything is deflector
Or
array.
reverse polarity.
That's true. Just reverse polarity and we'll be good, right? So I'd like to pick back up at a debriefing back aboard the Erebus. It's been about 3 days since the events. The crew is all recovered. A funeral was likely held for Rojas. No remains, unfortunately, but he did his job well. I think it's our first red shirt death, and it was very visceral, but also kind of cool because he made a nice Lord of the Rings joke. But let's pick up the scene. You're all back to your... Anybody that was playing side characters. Aaron, your character's dead, so you can't play him anymore. You'll have to make a new security guy.
That's okay.
We have lots of crew. We have well over 800 more crew to go through, so we've got time. But you guys are in a meeting. Fill us in, Lieutenant Phelan. You were the commanding officer of the away mission. What happened? Fill the captain in.
Phelan will let him know that we had been misled by Iwik. While he was not entirely lying about his intentions, he was not telling the whole truth. I believe that his influence drove the denizens on that station to the level of destructive insanity that he was attempting to do the same to the crew of the Erebus. But with the quick action of Mr. Flitz and our honored dead Ensign Diego Rojas, we were able to dispatch him. I must admit, some degree of shame on my part, as I was in charge of the away mission that had brought Iwik aboard initially. His plan would not have been able to reach fruition had I not assisted him.
Perhaps not, but Bear in mind, we wouldn't have the means to return and the knowledge to save Ardal's people without him. I think, as painful as it is to lose somebody, that ultimately, if that sacrifice is not in vain, we can find meaning in death, just as we do in life.
Of course. My people do not flinch from death. I believe that Diego Rojas now sings in the halls of his ancestors.
Although this does bring to light the sobering reality that we will lose more people on this mission. I think it is only fitting that we have a way to honor them. I'm going to set aside one of the modular rooms as a memorial, and he will be the first person commemorated.
I would also like to recommend commendations for the surviving members of our team. Were it not for the actions of Flitz, Ceres, and Mr. Chithane, we would not have been as successful as we were.
I will make sure to cite each of them for conspicuous gallantry in their records.
Didn't feel very gallant.
It rarely does.
That's how you know it was.
That makes no sense whatsoever, Captain.
I believe it is a human thing.
He looks over his fellow Andorian. You really have been perverted by your time in Starfleet, haven't you?
Well, I did spend a great deal of time on Earth as a child. I didn't see Andoria until I was fully grown.
And by then it was blinding.
You didn't miss much.
You barely adopted Starfleet. I was born to
Born
it,
to it.
molded by it.
All right. Let me reel you guys back in. So
Thank you.
you have your debriefing, and we're getting ready to wrap up here. Candidly speaking, you have your debriefing. We watch as our final scene for today's session. We just really wanted to kind of just get back into it, start a little bit, have a little bit of fun. We'll do a little bit of a longer session, but you guys are going to end back up right where you had departed from that sector. And our final scene is an image of the Erebus, a wormhole opening, the deflector array sending out beams of energy, you slipping into it, the wormhole shutting, and then our credits are going to roll.
Oh, may I quickly get one last interjection?
You absolutely may.
As we are about to head out, I believe Lieutenant Phelan will find himself in a turbo lift with Mr. Chithane. If you're all right with that, sir.
Oh, absolutely.
Excuse me.
I know I have not had the opportunity to say this to you directly. I would just like to let you know I dislike you immensely.
You didn't need to tell me that. I was already well aware.
However, he just kind of looks over. It is encouraging to know that there is some degree of fire in your blood.
Can this be our post-credit scene?
I must say, if I wasn't already sufficiently ashamed, your praise would achieve that. You're heaping coals onto a wound. You really don't like me at all.
No, I do not. You continually spurn and disrespect and disdain people who would gladly lay down their lives for you. People like Ensign Rojas. Your high-minded sense of pacifism, your self-proclaimed sense of moral superiority is a luxury afforded to you, paid for in blood. So no, I do not care for you, Mr. Chithane. But it is my duty as an officer of Starfleet and my honor as a Klingon warrior to keep you under my protection.
I like that line. Can we leave it there? That
Yep.
feels good. That feels like a good cadence. I like that line. And then I think we're gonna have our, executive producer, Dare Wolfton Gaming. It's great. So
I didn't mean to
no,
cut you off.
not at all. That felt like a really good final line and maybe again, I don't want to tell Shazaz what you do, but just like a moment of just like they're looking at each other, and it just boom, fade to black. I think that's good. So as I always say at the end of every session, first and foremost, thank you to the players for playing. It's nice to be back. I missed you guys. I was a little rusty, I'll fully admit. I was stumbling over my words. I felt really awkward. Like I didn't know what I was doing. But I hope you guys had fun. And it's just good to be back with you guys. I'm hoping we can get back on a consistent schedule every 2 weeks. It doesn't sound like we have any shows coming up, ? Both good and bad. So we can hopefully get back into a regular swing of things. Let's plan for 2 weeks from today. So be the second week of March, which would be March the 8th, is our next session. In the meantime, though, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns before I release you all into the wild?
And
R.I.P.
Wolf,
Rojas.
yeah, can the captain give the away team a decoration?
Yes.
Okay.
I would like a little fountain.
Well, the cool thing about it is it has a mechanical benefit. If Wolf will allow it, I'll talk to you.
We'll talk offline. We'll figure that out.
We'll talk
Yeah,
offline.
I like that. It can be
All
part
right.
of our opening scene.
I gotta go, guys.
He's gotta go.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
Be well, be
Good.
safe, and
care.
happy gaming. We'll see you guys soon. Cheers.
Later,
Cheers.
guys.
Good game, guys.
Bye.